All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of the absolute most fascinating fitness anomalies on the whole internet. We're talking about Anatoly. You know the guy, the elite powerlifter who dresses up as this totally unassuming gym cleaner, complete with a mop and bucket, and then just casually outlifts some of the biggest bodybuilders on the planet. But, it kind of makes you wonder, right? Are these just really hilarious pranks, or are we actually looking at a masterclass in human biomechanics that literally shatters everything we thought we knew about building muscle? Well, let's find out.
You've seen this visceral reaction over and over again. You've got these massive 250-pound bodybuilders literally sweating and grunting just to move a heavy barbell. And then Anatoly just kind of wanders over in his little janitor uniform, politely apologizes for being in the way, and effortlessly picks up their absolute one-rep max with one hand. The gym-goers are just completely bewildered. They're screaming at him, "You're gonna hurt your back. What is this, a mop?"
And honestly, it brilliantly shows the absolute cognitive dissonance happening in these gyms. When elite lifters see a skinny guy in a jumpsuit moving weights that they can barely even budge, their brains literally short-circuit. They cannot compute it. They start going, "Are you kidding me? Is this plastic? That's real weight?" You'll see them tapping the plates, completely convinced they're filled with air, because to them, what Anatoly is doing just straight up defies the laws of physics. But the shock value doesn't even end with the barbells. 32 kilograms. To put that into perspective, Anatoly's seemingly ordinary mop and bucket, the props he's just casually carrying around the gym one-handed, have a baseline weight of over 70 pounds of dead weight. Just effortlessly swinging 70 pounds around while pretending to wipe the floor, that completely sets the stage for the sheer physical shock value of the prank.
Okay, so Section 1, the heavyweight cleaner prank, viral gym encounters. Let's dive into this.
The real genius here is in the hilarious juxtaposition. So Anatoly, whose real name is actually Vladimir, adopts this persona of a super apologetic cleaner, or sometimes he even dresses up as a confused old man. He'll walk right up to these struggling elite giants and politely ask to clean under their feet. And then, oops, seemingly by accident, he'll just deadlift their personal bests with one arm, all while asking them for technique advice. It's basically the ultimate setup of underpromising and wildly over-delivering. But as fun as these videos are, we really need to pivot from pure viral entertainment to the core educational question here. How exactly does a quote-unquote cleaner outlift elite bodybuilders? Like, what is the actual underlying science that makes this seemingly superhuman feat possible?
Which brings us to Section 2, the myth of muscle size, function over form.
For decades now, we've basically been sold this idea that massive muscle size automatically equals superior functional strength. On one side, you have your classic bro split, exhausting routines, grinding in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, spending hours just isolating specific muscles. But then, on the flip side, you look at Anatoly's approach. It's a highly efficient 3-day-a-week functional system. He's living proof that you absolutely don't need to live in the gym to build elite, freakish power. And this is because Anatoly's entire philosophy is that his goal isn't to look like some inflated bodybuilder. I love this point he makes. He argues that historical figures known for immense strength, like Hercules or the Vikings, they definitely weren't doing bicep curls 6 times a week, right? They weren't eating 7 precisely measured meals a day out of Tupperware. His focus is entirely on achieving real, adaptable, functional Viking and Hercules conditions.
All right, Section 3. The Anatoly Power System. Train like a Viking. Now, what's really interesting here are the actual mechanics. The core of his routine boils down to power building and training periodization. So Anatoly isn't just in there lifting max weight every single day. No, he is constantly changing the load to shock his central nervous system. It's all about combining elite powerlifting mechanics with aesthetic goals, but the secret sauce is focusing on the nervous system's ability to recruit muscle fibers, rather than just tearing muscle tissue to make it swell up.
If we break down his specific methodology, the core tenets are actually surprisingly straightforward. He does 3 to 4 short workouts a week. We're talking 90 minutes max. He focuses on a very small amount of key powerlifting moves, and then he mixes in cross-sport exercises from calisthenics and grappling just to keep the body fully adaptable. And nutritionally, well, he relies super heavily on a high collagen diet, which makes sense, right? Because he needs to support the extreme stress he's putting on those joints and tendons. But here's the kicker. Physical training is really only half the battle. Anatoly explains that power isn't about the size of your muscle. Power actually starts from your mind. He uses this crazy mental focus technique where he visualizes extreme life or death situations, like literal fire burning all around him, to trigger a massive fight or flight response. It's exactly like those crazy stories you hear of mothers lifting cars off their trapped children. He is actively tapping into absolute peak human potential just through intense mental concentration.
Moving on to section 4, real people, real results. Does the system actually work? 60,000. That is a massive number. That is how many users globally have completely ditched their traditional, exhausting, high-volume routines. They've stopped spending 2 hours a day isolating tiny muscle groups, and instead, they've successfully adopted Anatoly's training programs to completely transform their bodies. To put this whole thing to the ultimate test, Anatoly's team actually ran a specific 30-day experiment. They took 700 people and put them exclusively on his periodization program and that high collagen diet. And honestly, in just 1 month, the transformations were so extreme that even his own friends thought the before and after videos were totally faked. One participant, a guy named Stuart, actually took home a $25,000 prize just for his unbelievable results. And the hard data from that experiment is just undeniable. Get this. 97% of participants achieved a tangible result in just 30 days. 68% gained real lean muscle mass, and an absolutely incredible 90% became functionally stronger. I mean, that right there proves the system's efficiency across all different body types and fitness levels. So I really want to ask you directly, are you tired of practically living in the gym without actually seeing any functional strength gains? Because this entire phenomenon perfectly solves that brutal fitness burnout loop. You know the one. We overtrain, we get completely exhausted, our joints constantly ache, and our real-world strength just totally plateaus. Anatoly's method literally breaks that cycle entirely. The ultimate takeaway you should have from this explainer is that fitness really shouldn't be about destroying your joints with chronic overtraining. Anatoly has built a comprehensive system for strength, speed, flexibility, and overall health. It's all about building a highly adaptable body that operates at absolute peak efficiency, rather than just pumping up your muscles for show. I want to wrap up today's explainer with a really powerful quote that Anatoly actually learned from his grandfather. He said, "It's a shame for a man to die without ever reaching his peak strength." When you look at what a janitor with a 32-kilogram mop can pull off, it really makes you wonder about your own untapped physical potential. So I'll leave you with this. Have you reached yours?